Thank you. We'll call this meeting to order. November 4th, 2024. And please ensure that your cell phones are turned off or on mute. And we welcome those that are here today in the gallery from members of the public, and the members of the public who are participating from home. Welcome to them also. And welcome to our staff and our members of council for being here this evening. And I'll ask everyone to rise for roll call, please. Well, now let's begin our meeting with the land acknowledgement. As we gather, we are reminded that the municipality of South Huron is situated on Treaty 29 land that is steeped in rich Indigenous history and home to First Nations, Inuit, and Métis people today. And as a community, we have a responsibility to honor and respect this territory's significance for the Indigenous peoples who lived and continue to live upon it, and whose practices and spiritualities were tied to the land and continue to develop in relationship to the territory and its other inhabitants today. In the spirit of reconciliation and truth, we acknowledge the Anishinaabe and the Haudenosaunee peoples on whose traditional territory we are meeting. And move on to item number 2, please. Recommendation.
That South Huron Council approves the agenda as presented.
And a mover, please. Moved by Councillor Neeb, seconded by Councillor Vaughn. Any discussion? Call the question. All in favor? That carries with 7. Thank you. Disclosure of pecuniary interest and the general nature thereof. Are there any disclosures at this time? Not seeing any. We move to our presentations. If there are none, we should move to 5.1 and welcome our friend Don DeJong for his presentation. Welcome, Don. You have about 10 minutes, just so you know.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mayor Finch and members of council. I appreciate you taking the time, and maybe to start with, we appreciate last council meeting support that council expressed. Thank you. I know that standing here before you tonight, I struggle a bit with how to speak to our goal and our needs. I know Alex Wolf, the clerk, was good enough to reach out to us the other day and say, what are your presentation materials tonight? We said, we're going to keep it simple. But, you know, in the final moments here, we're so close on many fronts, but yet we're just a little shy sometimes. And at one point, my only slide was going to be, and for those that can't see this too easily, delegated authority. And I went, you know, the most important thing to convey to council is there's a need to have staff be empowered to complete some of the tasks in the final moments here. And I felt that was the simplicity of my presentation in a lot of ways, because we were on a good track. And I think we are on a good track still. But I do concur with the need to be cautious in the final moments. And I will say to council, your staff is very loyal and very good to be careful with things that are of concern to them. And I think we come from a position of maybe having some more comfort in some of the scenarios we're suggesting than maybe what is being conveyed ultimately to staff and council. And in those moments, CBO Rolf has been very good in helping us and communicate. Mr. Giberson, Rebecca, excuse me, I find your first name easier than, but you know, we stand in so close with this dream home. There's a lot of good factors that can move forward, but we're just caught. And as Mike and I saw in August with Selena's help, we had a holding provision that we're suddenly with that was a little more onerous than we expected. And I think, if I may be so open, more than we expected, and not something that was as usual in a subdivision provision. So it wasn't a case of, in conversation months back, being with the ability to issue a building permit because of the little more complexity of a holding provision. And I just explained that a little better, where at one point we said, gee, for one permit, that could ride with the land. And okay, we're safe with that thinking. But when we got into the conditions of removal, and with Selena's help at the planning department, we realized that it was a little more involved. And from so close in September, having the meeting happen in October for that presentation, I think October to have it happen in November, I should clarify. We sit within December, and we're just worried that we're running out of time for the dream home. Then the thought was subdivision agreement. And the subdivision agreement is something that I believe is rather straightforward to be with, but in the caution that staff has presented in their report, and it's coming to you later, I don't know how to be with action from council in what their decision is, but I will share what our goal as developer, and it ties into the process of the subdivision and the dream home right now, if I may. I'm gonna push the limits of where my conversation is supposed to be and where I go in my thinking, but really the subdivision is agreement is very integral to being able to start the dream home right now. And I didn't realize how strong that connection was until I saw a staff report on Thursday night. And, our subdivision agreement and some of the financial stuff I thought could go, the way it does, because we've had that experience in other jurisdictions. I believe now, where we had hoped to be as a developer, and to explain something that's important to council to understand. Some people look at me and say, why are you doing the pipe? Why? I've heard that directly. Why are you doing this oversized pipe? Why not just do a local sewer? And our response is, well, because we thought that's what the EA demanded of us, and we couldn't goof around with having the subdivision be available and going. So I will admit, when I read staff report the other day that says, there's a question, is there a basis of going back to it? I haven't had the conversation with staff the way I need to understand what that means. And I know council will, but I need to express to council, and please hold this, in your care for us. We really need to have an immediate start. And we're really about and anxious to start, not just the dream home, but the dream home is the first thing. But we, at this point, really had hoped we'd have some foundations in the ground, and we'd be with some momentum that way. And again, we're so close. And to be fair to everyone here and to explain something to council, MTO has been good to work with in a lot of this moving through the process once we engage them well. Was that as simple as we've experienced in other sites? No, it was more complex. And I think we've all found it complex in making sure that we answer the MTO. Even now, we're being cautious with MTO seeing some aspects of our hydro approval in their review. And we're going, why is MTO approving our hydro? Why is this? But there's this caution that comes through complex sites, and this site is a little more complex because of the highway. But I do ask, and I share to council, we're so close. I see how we can have this work well, but there is a combination of all these little pages here that we need to have happen here with council's help. And I don't know how it looks exactly. I stand before you and ad-libbing with my words. I didn't know how to say this all comes together without council's help. I love to be able to stand before you know, what council's term is a decision maker. And I stand before you that way, but I'd have more banter. I'd be listening a lot more. And so I ask for your questions here because we really are about trying to answer questions you may have to give council comfort in what needs to happen here for our start. And if I may, I'll go mute now and hopefully have some questions if I can answer any.
Thank you very much, Don. Any questions for Don? Not seeing any,
I'll
Don.
say I did a good job then.
Yeah, you must have done a good job answering all the
But-
questions.
But in that, thank you to members of council. Oh, what, I apologize. Is there a question?
Councilman Teacher, you have a question? Go ahead.
To the mayor. Thanks, Don, for your presentation. I don't have a university degree, but I did hear something about enlarging a sewer pipe down the road here. And that's going to be at your expense, clear and free, no questions asked.
Go ahead, Don.
Thank you, if I may be with permission to answer that. And I will go back to my statement and expand where we're hoping to be and where we are now. We were hoping that we'd be with this ability to be putting pipe in the ground in September. Now that we're running into the end of the year, we're with higher dewatering costs. We're with delay of start. We're with complexities that are increasing our cost every week. And it's going to cause us, it is causing us pain now. We're with some agreements that we can't adhere to. So the notion of where we felt at liberty to be with some costs for that, we're concerned right now because when I stand here, I can't say what council's decision is going to be to know when we can go. And each week, and I'm not exaggerating on each week that goes by, our costs go higher and the benefits of our hope and action of doing this pipe are diminishing.
You have a follow-up, Councilor Dietrich? Okay, thank you. Any other questions? Okay, not seeing any. Thanks very much, Don, for your presentation.
Thank you. I will stay around for any conversation that might be there later and would be open to further discussion if it's with merit.
Absolutely. Thank you very much
Thank you.
for that offer. Very well. Okay, Ms. Masula Carlson.
That South Huron Council receives the delegation from Trident Properties regarding the commencement of construction for the 2025 Dream Home Lottery as presented by Don DeJong.
And a mover, please. Moved by Councilor Oak, seconded by Deputy Mayor. Any discussion? Call the question, all in favor? And that carries with 7. Thank you. 6 is public meeting. We'll move on to 7.1, please.
That South Huron Council adopts the minutes of the regular council meeting of October 21st, 2024 as printed and circulated.
And a mover, please. Moved by Councilor Vaughn, second by Councilor Neeb. Any discussion? Call the question, all in favor? Carries with 7. 8.1 down to 8.5, please.
That the minutes, agenda packages, and correspondence of the following committees and or boards be received as presented to council. Ausable Bayfield Conservation Authority, draft minutes of September 19th, 2024, draft budget minutes of October 10th, 2024, an agenda package of October 24th, 2024, correspondence, 2025 proposed budget. Committee of the Whole, minutes of October 15th, 2024, Blue Water Recycling Association, meeting highlights of October 17th, 2024, Court of Revision, minutes of October 21st, 2024, Committee of Adjustment, draft minutes of October 21st, 2024.
And a mover, please. Moved by Councilor Neeb, seconded by Councilor Vaughn. Any discussion? Councilor Oak?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. In regards to ABCA, in the package that is part of this, they talked about potentially coming to attend a council meeting to explain their budget. I wonder if we could take them up on that. The proposed budget of 4.88% for South Huron is significantly higher than other municipalities in their catchment area, so and double of last year. So I'm just wondering if we could have some dialogue on that.
Ms. Masula Carlson, comment?
Yes, I'll take that back.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? Okay, not seeing any. We have a mover and a seconder. If there's no further discussion, call the question. All in favor? Carries with 7. Thank you. Go to 9.2.1.
That South Huron Council receives staff report CSD 08-2024, our zone policy, and the council approves the our zone policy, and that the necessary bylaw be brought back to council for the required 3 readings.
And a mover, please. Moved by Counselor Neeb, seconded by Counselor Oak. Any discussion? Counselor Neeb.
Thank you, Mayor Finch, through the chair. Thank you very much for this policy. I think it's a really positive move for people attending our recreation facilities. The one thing that came to mind when I was reading through it was also like social media and media, and I'm wondering whether or not we have something similar in terms of respect and responsibility on our social media platforms. I'm not sure if there was something already in our communications policy about that, but in reading through this, I thought that, it could be worthwhile to maybe add some of these items into that.
Ms. Masu Coulson.
I can start to have some of it. And it isn't just for recreation facilities necessarily. We're going to roll it over all of our municipal facilities. As well, there are some disclaimers and some rules on our social media. There is a few clauses in our communications policies as well, but that is always something that we're looking at.
Okay, thank you. And this would include our landfill also and any facility, you take it. Yep. Any other questions, Counselor Oak?
Thank you, Mayor. Great to see that this is being put forward. Thank you, Amanda. One comment, there was one word missing out of the policy that was in the staff report, officials. Just wondered if that could be put in the policy as well.
So through your worship, yep, that will be added. It is a draft policy, so I can make that edit as well.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments? Okay, not seeing any. We have a mover and a seconder. There's no further discussion. I'll call the question. All in favor? That carries with 7. Thank you very much. And moving all along, 9.2.2.
That South Huron Council receives staff report CSD 09-2024, South Huron Rec Center, Recreation Center Roof Replacement Tender Award, and that South Huron Council accepts the tender received from Smith Pete Roofing and Sheet Metal Limited in the amount of $240,976, excluding HST.
And a mover, please. Moved by Counselor Oak, seconded by Counselor Neeb. Any discussion? Counselor McLeod Haggett.
Yes, through you, Mr. Mayor. Just wondering what type of warranty comes with the one that we're looking to accept.
Amanda?
Through the chair, so I would have to, if possible, can I get back to you on that? I just have to review all the details, the finer print, just to pull that number for you, so.
Take your time. Counselor Oak, you have a question?
Yeah, I'd just like to say that's great news. 500,000 roughly under budget. So obviously some aggressive bids out there, and it's nice that it's a local bid as well. So
Yeah, always nice when it's local for sure. Any other questions at all? Counselor Dietrich?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Where does that 500,000 go then that we budgeted for and not using?
So the call, would you respond?
It would go back into the capital replacement reserve for recreation. That's my understanding.
Any other questions? Okay, we'll just wait for Amanda. Oh,
Right,
Counselor McLeod Haggett.
Sorry, just wondering, is it a full tear off or is it just to the deck or right down to the overlay?
Amanda?
Through the chair. So my understanding is they're not pulling everything off. So over top of the arena, that's where they're putting, how do you explain it? They're putting a surface over that side. And then there's the foyer to address the foyer. So they're not ripping the entire roof off. My understanding is they're adding the film to the top of it.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, just give Amanda a few minutes to find that information.
So through the chair, it may take a little, I will keep looking during this meeting, so.
Okay, thank you. So can we proceed with this motion then? You're satisfied with that, Ms. McCollum? Okay, thank you. So is there any further discussion? Okay, not seeing, we'll call the question. All in favor? And that carries with 7. Thank you. 9.2.3, please.
That South Huron Council receive staff report Fire 09-2024, Fire Department 2024 Q3 Activity Report.
And a mover, please. Counselor Neeb, seconded by Counselor Dietrich. Discussion? Call the question. All in favor? Oh, do you have a question, Counselor Vaughn? Go ahead, please.
I do. Yeah, okay. When I was looking over the terms of reference for this working group, it looked a little broad in terms of the potential.
Counselor Vaughn, are you on
Oh,
9.2?
I'm ahead. Sorry.
Any questions on 9.2.3? Call the question. All in favor then? And that carries with 7. Thank you. Moving right along to 9.3, 9.4, and 9.4.1. I know there's a question for that. And Ms. Basul Carlson.
That South Huron Council receive staff report CR 07-2024, Regional Environment and Sustainability Working Group. And that South Huron Council supports staff in South Huron's participation in the working group.
And a mover, please. Moved by Counselor Neeb, seconded by Deputy Mayor. Discussion. Counselor Vaughn.
Okay, sorry about that false start. Yes, so when I was looking at this Regional Environment and Sustainability Working Group term of reference, it looked to me like yes, it's always a good idea to collaborate, talk with your neighbors, see what they're dealing with, but the terms looked rather broad in terms of well, the subject matter, environment and sustainability, that's a big subject, covers all manner of everything we actually do here at the municipality. And so it looked like from the report that the cost for now is basically staff time. But to me, because the mandate looks so broad, it didn't really look like there was anything specific we were actually going to try to target as this working group. So I just wondered why it was coming to council for approval in terms of, are you asking us that this become one of our priorities, or is this something that the CAO believes that can be absorbed within the staff? Like, I'm just wondering why it came up to the council level for approval.
We gather CEO or Stacy's on the line, whichever you choose.
Susan Mayor, I can speak to that. It's brought up just so that council's aware of this initiative. It's all voluntary as far as all that I expect would be the staff, and that would be Stacy that would be attending these minutes. It is quite broad. I believe it fits into our pillars a little bit about leveraging partnerships and working with other municipalities, even if it's just for information gathering. At the end of the day, it's up to council whether or not any of the initiatives that come out of this working group, if council wishes to participate in any of them, that's up to council, this particular council.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, and for the record, I was invited to the first meeting, so I went down to it and it just did it for an exploratory reason. And Stacy actually joined me. So anyways, the mayor himself is not going to be participating in any of it, and nor am I recommending any member of council to be on it, but there is value in having staff there. So Councillor Neeb, you have something?
I think too, it fits in with our pillars being forward looking and looking for environmental health for future generations. I also like the idea that we can maybe gather best practices from other municipalities and what other staff are doing, and that might spur on some decisions too in the municipality of South Huron. So I think it's great. I think any opportunity we can get staff out discussing things with other staff who are in similar backgrounds, like that's a huge benefit to us as council and as the municipality. So I think it's great.
Thank you. And Stacy, do you have a comment at all?
Through you, Mayor Finch. Yeah, I would just like to add that, so we have met 3 times since this report came forward, and truly I wanted to get this in front of council just so you are aware that this is happening. It's no different than any other, working group or roundtable that staff are involved with. This one is a unique opportunity for us to work with partner municipalities as well. I can tell you through discussion, there has been, common challenges that we are facing based on impacts from climate change. The waste discussion is a big one. So there is definitely value, and truly this report is being brought to council to highlight that, we would like staff to be part of this working group just for the benefit of listening to what others are doing, as well as having the potential to collaborate in the future. So it's more of for information. So there is that background that if any asks do come out, of course, it would then be brought back to council for formal approval.
Great, thank you very much for that, Stacy. Any other questions? Well, Stacy's here. Okay, Councillor Oak, you had something?
Yeah, just wondering, I know North Middlesex was the original spearheaded of this. I noticed that there was a few neighboring municipalities that aren't involved, and just wondering, notably Lambton Shores, just wondering thoughts there, or why some of the municipalities aren't participating?
Stacy, would you be able to provide that information?
Yeah, through you, Mayor Finch. So I can tell you that Lambton Shores has been invited to join this working group. I think timing for them to participate hasn't been ideal, just everything, that's happening within their municipality and some of their priorities. They did express interest in being part of the group. So truly, there's no limitation if there are neighboring municipalities, that share common challenges and common priorities, then absolutely the group is open to, extending that invitation.
Okay, thank you. Are there any further questions? Okay, not seeing any. We have a mover and a seconder. There's no further discussion. I'll call the question. All in favor? And that carries with 7. Thank you. Thank you very much, Stacy, for that. Okay, moving right along, 9.4.2, please.
That South Huron Council received staff report CRO 8/2024 International Agri-Food Workers, IAW, Welcoming Communities Initiative funding, and that South Huron Council authorizes staff to apply to the IAW Welcoming Communities Initiative funding program in collaboration with Huron County Local Immigration Partnership.
And a mover, please. Moved by Councillor Neeb, seconded by Deputy Mayor. Any discussion? Call the question. All in favor? That carries with 7. Thank you. 9.4.3.
That South Huron Council received staff report FIN 18/2024, the 2023 audited financial statements, and that South Huron Council adopts the audited financial statements as presented by Paul Seebach and Company at the October 28th, 2024 budget meeting.
And a mover, please. Councillor Neeb, seconded by Councillor Oak. Any discussion? Call the question. All in favor? That carries with 7. Next item, please. 9.4.4.
Through the mayor, I think Amanda has her answer on the warranty. If we can go to
Absolutely.
that, is that
Thanks.
okay?
Thanks very much. Go ahead, Amanda.
Sorry, so through the chair. So the contractor workmanship warranty is 2 years from the date of substantial completion. And then the manufacturer roof system warranty is 10 years from the date of substantial completion.
Okay, thank you. Okay, 9.4.4 then.
That South Huron Council received staff report CAO 13/2024 for information.
And a mover, please. Moved by Councillor Neeb, seconded by Councillor Oak. Any discussion? Councillor Neeb, go ahead, please.
Yeah, through the chair, and then just this is mainly a question of just process, because I see in the report it lays out three options, and I'm just wondering, is staff looking for us to make a recommendation of one of those 3 options this evening, or are we going to be waiting for our committee of the whole meeting in order to make those suggestions on those options?
Mr. Suckoff.
Through the mayor, staff is waiting for council to confirm prior to making a decision. So it will be at the meeting in November. That's correct. It's an information report, just a follow-up. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Oak.
Yeah, thank you. And just to clarify, the November 19th meeting, it's a special council meeting as opposed to a committee of the whole. So council can make a decision that evening. And they don't, we're not recommending it to a future council meeting. There could be, we could do that if we're waiting for additional information or whatever, but there could be some sort of decision made on the 19th. Is that correct?
Ms. Masuda Carlson.
Through the mayor, that's correct. It is a special council meeting, a meeting of council. Yeah.
Okay, any other questions at all? Okay, not seeing any. We have a mover and a seconder. If there's no further discussion, call the question. All in favor? And that carries a 7. Thank you. Number 10, are we aware of any notices of motion?
Yes, so there is one notice of motion from Councillor Neeb. Whereas council received staff report TSD 14/2024 speed reduction pilot project. And whereas the speed reduction pilot project reduced speeds on a section of Huron Street from Airport Line to Main Street. And whereas staff have observed a noticeable reduction in speeding and no impairment to the flow of traffic. Therefore, be it resolved that council direct a report from staff be presented at a future council meeting proposing potential locations for reductions of speeds in urban areas within the municipality of South Huron.
So moved, Councillor Neeb.
So moved.
There will not be a seconder because it's a notice of motion. It will come up in the next council meeting. Any other notice of motion you're aware of?
No.
Thank you. Item number 11, please. Ms. Masuda Carlson.
11.1 are delegations from previous meetings. We have CMHA, Thames Valley Addiction and Mental Health Services, as well as Seagull Construction.
Anyone wish to speak to that? Okay, not seeing any. Number 11.2, please.
That South Huron Council set the statutory public meeting for the official plan review for Monday, December 16th, 2024 at 5 p.m.
And a mover, please. Moved by Councillor Oak, second by Councillor Neeb. Any discussion? Call the question. All in favor? And that carries with 7. Thank you. Moving along. Oh, sorry.
Sorry, through the chair, and apologies, I'd like to beg council's indulgence for a moment. We have a budget meeting that is scheduled for Tuesday, November the 12th, and we also have a budget meeting that's scheduled for Monday, November the 25th. Unfortunately, I'm unable to make November the 12th for the budget meeting, and since we've already over halfway through the budget, I'm begging council's indulgence to maybe cancel the budget meeting on the 12th and instead have our budget meeting on the 25th, because I'm certain we probably won't need the extra meeting on the 25th. Furthermore, I think, you know, a little bit of time in between meetings, we might get more information before our budget meeting. So I'd like to move that we cancel the budget meeting on November the 12th.
And just for clarification, you have a commitment, I believe?
Yeah, I have a commitment. I can't get out of it, unfortunately.
So we have a moved motion there. Do you want to just read that for us when you're ready?
That South Huron Council cancel the budget meeting scheduled for Tuesday, November 12th.
So moved.
So moved.
Is there a seconder, please? Calling for a seconder, Councillor Vaughn, seconds. Any discussion? Councillor Oak.
Just just a clarification. We have a meeting on the 25th. If this one were to, is there another one set after that? Because my concern is we have the rest of the capital, and if there's any questions or any requests for staff to come back with some adjustments or things that we come out with, because we haven't got to the point of establishing a tax rate or any of that type of situation. So I'm just thinking that we won't finalize it on the 25th because there could be still some additional information that will be required. So is there still time to have a meeting after that that meeting to still follow the timelines that staff had wanted with this process?
Ms. Masuda calls and comment.
Through the mayor, it is possible. It won't fit in the timelines that were originally set, however, just due to the notice provisions. That if the budget was to be adopted, let's say, as per the original schedule on December 16th, it won't work for that if there's an additional meeting. Right now that there was the meetings originally scheduled for the 12th, they're still scheduled for the 12th and then the 25th. That would have been the tentative date. However, meetings have gone over into the new year before.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so that's my only concern is that we're going to need something after the 25th, I expect. In past with the past history of how things go. So I'm just thinking that we're going to have to decide if we stay with the 12th and 25th or we go with 25th and establish another date.
Okay, so we have a motion right now on the floor to cancel the next meeting for the budget meeting. Any further discussion? Call the question, all in favor? And that carries, that does not carry. Okay, opposed? Okay, Counselor Dietrich, are you in favor or against? I don't know if. Oh, okay, all right, well, we officially, if you haven't voted, then it's a nay for you, so that does not carry. Thank you. Okay, moving right along, that was under new business. Are there any other new business at this point? Okay, not seeing any. Mayor and councillor comments and announcements. Are there any comments or announcements at this time? Okay. Right, not seeing at this point. I'm just discussions with our CEO earlier about the upcoming Roma conference. And I'm wondering, we've had a meeting earlier with our MPP about the connecting link. And I'm wondering if some of the businesses up there, of course, have experienced some challenges with the loss of income and whatnot. So I'm wondering if we should have a meeting with someone in the province, whether it be financial or whomever, infrastructure. Mr. Sue Carlson, would you have a recommendation to have some type of funding available for those that are experiencing a loss of income on a connecting link project? Mr. Sue Carlson.
Our MPP actually said that her new rural affairs may be a place to start as well for that, because they are looking at different projects.
Okay, so maybe if someone is interested in making a motion to that effect, because I'm the chair, of course, but is there anyone interested in speaking to that? Councillor Oak. Okay, and would you be able to prepare a motion, please, Madam Clerk?
Through the mayor, if we're going to make a motion on Roma, are there other ministries?
Councillor Oak.
Yeah, so the notice just came out this week and we still have another council meeting before that. I wondered if there maybe be time to think about that and bring it for the next council meeting.
Yeah, and that's fine. I just wanted to get this on,
No,
on
that
the agenda here.
I
now.
definitely support what you're suggesting for sure.
Okay, so you'll move that and I'll wait for the motion to be prepared. Look for a seconder then. Deputy, you had a comment?
Just a comment, yeah, like we're looking at construction and I understand.
Can we
Yeah.
do that once we get the seconder though? If that's all right. No problem. I just want to make sure we have it procedurally.
That South Huron Council directs staff to submit a delegation request for the 2025 Annual Roma Conference to the Ministry of Agricultural, Food and Affairs
Deputy, you'll second that? Rule first, rule first.
and Rural Affairs.
Okay, you'll second that then? So you have a comment now?
Yeah, I guess, and I'm in agreement with it. My only concern is there is construction happening in other areas that have the same problem, like I saw that through Dashwood, and it's the same thing. So how do we help those businesses also? I mean, this is kind of,
Yeah, and I guess my point is with this is that it's a starting point for us because it is a connecting link project. So therefore it might be, it's something to support that, that the area of business is there, but you're right, there are other areas too that are impacted. So that's why I'm bringing it forward now, so we can get it on the agenda right away. Any other comments then? Okay. So we have a mover and a seconder. If there's no further discussion, I'll call the question all in favor. That carries a 7. Thank you for that. Are there any other comments under the mayor and councillors' comments? Not seeing any. Okay. Ms. Masula Carlson, you'll call those items, and if there's any discussion, please call them out, please.
Okay, 14.1. 14.2. 14.3. 14.4.
Oh,
14.5. 14.6, that's 14.6.1 and 14.6.2.
Oh,
14.7.
Paul.
Hold up. Okay. Okay, 14.4. Ms. Councilor McLeod Hagan.
yes, so I'm just looking if we could ask for a staff report outlining the process so far and identify how much interest it would actually have been.
Thank you. And you'll need a resolution for that. So you'll move that. Thank you. We'll just wait for our clerk to get that prepared.
That South Huron Council direct a staff report regarding the Geddes Pool October 27, 2024 correspondence outlining the process so far and identifying interest incurred be brought back for future council consideration.
So moved. Seconder, please. Is there a seconder? Councillor Vaughn, seconds. Discussion. Councillor Vaughn.
Yes, so appreciate the motion is all about getting a staff report to give it a little bit more detail. Just wanted to add to that in terms of the detail that struck me as I would like to know a little more about. There were a couple of dates here, sold the property in 2022, but then there's also mention of between 2014 and 2024, which is a 10-year period, that there was something amiss in that period too. So I wasn't quite sure what those different dates would mean to us as in this whole scheme.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. So we have a mover and a seconder. If there's further discussion. Any follow up on that? You're good?
Nope.
Call the question all in favor. Then that carries a 7. Thank you. 14.6, Councillor Oak.
Yeah, 14.6.1, just wondering what the CEO's thoughts are and staff's thoughts on supporting that resolution.
CEO.
Through the mayor, comments from our manager of transportation is that he would like council to support this if possible.
Okay, so moved.
Also move that.
Okay, thank you. And just wait for Madam Clerk to prepare that.
That South Huron Council supports the October 9th, 2024 correspondence of Good Roads Board of Directors regarding the establishment of an Ontario Rural Road Safety Program. The copy of the resolution and originating document be circulated to Premier Ford, Minister of Transportation, Minister of Infrastructure, of Agriculture, Minister of Rural Affairs, Minister of Emergency Preparedness and Response, and the Minister of Health, as well as Good Roads.
So moved. Seconded by Councillor McLeod Haggett. Any further discussion? Call the question, all in favor. That carries with 7. Thank you. And 14.7, Councillor Oak.
Yes, just noted the resolution that was sent to us here. Just wondering if we could maybe get a staff report if we've been approached and discussions that we've had in regards to the camera for the PGHL League.
Okay, so you're making a Councillor CEO.
So I just wondered if we could have a staff report or if the CEO could maybe make a comment on that.
To the mayor, I know that Amanda is involved with this already. And if she feels comfortable with the staff report, then if we get a motion, then we can bring one back.
Amanda, you're okay with that? Okay, thank you. So we'll just wait for a resolution here to be prepared.
That South Huron Council direct a staff report regarding camera installation proposal for use during the Provincial Junior Hockey League be brought back to council for consideration.
So moved. Seconded by Councillor Vaughn. Any further discussion, Councillor Oak?
Just as a follow-up, I know we have cameras in both facilities today, South Huron Minor Hockey for games, but this is different because it's a for-profit association or company that's putting these in. And so part of the just want the full clarification because the Exeter Hawks, that is part of this PJHL, a lot of their revenue that they gain is from people attending in person and just wanting to know that they support this as well. And because it's a outside organization doing it, just want to make sure that what concerns we might have.
Okay, thank you. Any further discussion? Call the question, all in favor. That carries with 7. Thank you. Did you have your hand up, Jim? Carries with 6. Thank you. 16, sorry, 15, no closed session, no report from closed session, 17.1. Oh, sorry, go ahead, yeah.
Let South Huron Council receive communication items not otherwise dealt with.
And a mover for that. Moved by Councillor McLeod Haggett, second by Deputy Mayor. Any discussion? Call the question, all in favor. That carries 7. Now we go to 15, 16, and now 17.1.
Let South Huron Council gives first, second, third, and final reading to bylaw 61, 2024, being a bylaw to authorize the assigning of a name to the roadway to allow access to the long-term care home using lands described as Plan 376, Part Lot 301, Registered Plan 22R 7283, Parts 1 and 2, and Plan 612, Block 42.
And a mover, please. Moved by Councillor Dietrich, seconded by Councillor Oak. Any discussion? Councillor Vaughn?
Yes, I just have a question. When I was looking at the map, it in that subdivision, it looked like Lawrence, the new proposed name, is really just a continuum summertime street, like all you have to do is cross the street to continue on. So I just wondered what the thinking was behind having another name for that small little bit of road.
Mr. Rolfe, do you want to take that?
Yeah, definitely to the mayor. This was discussed in length with the county of Huron. The way Snyder Crescent is addressed, I believe, is the west side of Snyder Crescent. And I can't remember if it's Summertime or Somerset. The first road off of that is parallel with Block 42 with Lawrence. The addressing runs from west to east. So in order to have a eastern and a west Summertime street, you would have to change everybody's addresses. And further to that, the county didn't want, or wasn't, their comment was that they were not in favor of having an east and a west that wasn't at a main street within a town or some sort of a focal point. Having it out in a subdivision may cause confusion, was the comment we received, both from the county and EMS.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Not seeing it, call the question. All in favor? And that carries with 7. Thank you. 18.1, please.
That South Huron Council gives first, second, third, and final reading to bylaw 62, 2024, being a bylaw to confirm matters addressed at the November 4th, 2024 public and regular council meetings.
And a mover, please. Moved by Councillor Dietrich, second by Councillor Neeb. Any discussion? Call the question. All in favor? Carries with 7. Thank you. And 19.
That South Huron Council hereby adjourns at 6:52 PM to meet again on November 18th, 2024 at 6 PM or at the call of the chair.
Moved by Deputy Mayor, seconded by Councillor Neeb. No discussion. Call the question. All in favor? And that carries with 7.